Hello and welcome to CTC and Me, insights, updates, and discussions on teacher certification and licensing from the California Commission on Teacher Credentialing. I am Michael Gaby-Gross from the Certification Division of the Commission on Teacher Credentialing. The Commission on Teacher Credentialing, CTC, has long sought to expand the ways in which we could assist employing agencies, university programs, and all of those interested in the activities of the CTC. We bring you a new podcast that will include discussions on teacher credentialing and teacher preparation in California. This podcast is mostly aimed at enlightening our partners in the field. However, there will be more than a few episodes that can be shared with candidates and established educators. Our overarching mission is to provide guidance on all aspects of credentialing, from established principles to hot topics. We want to deliver the information in concise yet comprehensive episodes that provide listeners with all the information they need to fully understand the topics presented. We hope this helps provide expanded guidance and enhances the consistency of communication throughout the field. More specifically, this podcast will provide guidance on credential and permit requirements, with episodes covering each permit or credential type and their respective requirements, the application process and how it works once the CTC receives a paper application versus an online application. More specifically, this podcast will provide guidance on credential and permit requirements, with episodes covering each permit or credential type and their respective requirements, the application process and how it works once the CTC receives a paper application versus an online application. We will provide guidance on employer or program topics, such as how to submit employer-restricted document applications online and what should be included as attachments, the Declaration of Need, DON, evaluating for subject matter competence, recent changes in law, and current events at the CTC. We will go over the information provided in new coded correspondences and credential information alerts, CIAs. We will also assist in using the current CTC online system until its upcoming replacement by the Educator Credentialing System, ECS. If you find yourself struggling to use the system or often have questions when working on a specific type of document, we hope to have a corresponding podcast episode to assist you or clear up any misconceptions. This podcast will be hosted by me, Michael Gaby-Gross. I've been with the Commission in the Certification Division for 11 years, starting as an analyst before working my way up to management. I have co-hosted the Certification Division's office hours for the last 4 years, and I've presented on credentialing topics at various conferences. I have a strong passion for the CTC's work and have enjoyed my time working with you all. I hope to bring that experience and passion to help work our way through various topics, issues, and processes. I will be joined from time to time by various co-hosts and guests. These guests will come from other units within certification. They will be discussing their areas of expertise and or answering questions from myself or the field. While I bring credential knowledge, my guests can bring their expertise to fill any gaps and provide you with the information you need on the topic. They will also bring new perspectives and topics to share with us that we may not have even considered. We want these episodes to be easily consumable, but also informative. We will provide 20-minute episodes either dedicated to one broad topic or several smaller ones. We also want to release these episodes monthly to provide regular updates and answer any additional questions that might arise from the most recent Certification Division office hours, any changes in law, or other current events, and, of course, answer any questions that come from you after you listen to the previous episode. We also release them in seasons to allow us to plan, write, and record episodes so there is little disruption in this podcast. While the primary format of this podcast will be audio only, some episodes will include a visual component or demonstration to help us better cover the topic. The good thing about this podcast is that recordings will be available to you on our website, so even if you come into the world of teacher credentialing years from now, as long as the information remains accurate, the episodes will remain available. One goal of this podcast is accuracy of information. Each episode, including this one, will end with a disclaimer that the information provided in the episode is valid as of the original release date of the episode. As we've discussed, laws change, and with that comes changes in requirements or processes. Not only will we keep you updated on those changes, but we will also monitor the information provided in previous episodes for accuracy. If an episode becomes outdated or obsolete, we will remove it to not provide inaccurate information. If, over the course of this podcast, you come across incorrect or outdated information that we have not removed or corrected in a later episode, please reach out to us. We do not want to inadvertently lead anyone astray with the information we provide in this podcast. Now, this podcast should not be the only way you get your information from the CTC. Our public website and Credential Information Guide, the CIG, remain the best and primary places for all relevant information on credentialing and will have updated information much faster than the release of episodes. There is a search bar in the upper right corner of every page of our website that you should use when researching a topic. These two websites have different focuses. The public website is where you'll find search options for looking up educators' documents in our system, where you'll find information on current events or announcements such as recent publications or information on the next commission meeting, and links to leaflets and other information current and potential educators, employing agencies, and programs may find useful. The CIG is like the public website, but it is for employing agencies and programs. The CIG requires a username and password to access the information. While it includes links, leaflets, and information on credentials and permits, it also includes forms and guides not available to the public. In the CIG, you will find forms that are required for various employer-restricted documents. You will also find charts, manuals, and instructions for using the CTC online system and guides for submitting recommendations. We have a glossary of common terms and credentialing codes you will find and use in CTC Online. We recommend becoming familiar with both websites. Hopefully, you found this podcast after perusing our website, or you have extensive experience using our websites already. I also want to mention how to contact the CTC. For credentialing-related questions, you want to use our new help request system rather than using the old credentials email address, which we have recently closed. The help request system is part of the future ECS system, and when we launch that system, correspondence that comes in will link directly to educators' profiles, allowing us to easily review educator profiles and what documentation they submitted. The system is superior to emails as the system auto-sorts your correspondence to an analyst trained on the topic you selected. No longer should your question be randomly assigned. It also allows us to track response times for these new requests, whereas our previous email system did not. The new help request system also allows us to make continuous improvements to the system itself. We can add, change, or remove selectable options, fix any issues that arise, and it is a secure system rather than the previous email system, so individuals can attach supporting documentation for our review. Another helpful tool for staying informed about CTC updates is by signing up for our email listservs. We have email lists on various topics. We certainly recommend you subscribe to the Commission's CTC News subscriber mailing list and the Certification Division mailing list. From there, you may be interested in other topics depending on your role at your organization. The Professional Services Division and the Assignment Unit both have their own mailing lists, and we offer mailing lists on early childhood education, PK-3 Community Circle, Education Specialist Cal TPA Program Coordinators, and the Literacy Work Group. You can sign up for all of these mailing lists through our public website by clicking on the About the Commission button on the homepage, then clicking on the blue Contact Us button on the right, and finally clicking on Other Commission Questions. Likewise, at the bottom of every email announcement is a link directly to the mailing list. So if a colleague forwards you an email, scroll down to the bottom to see the link to sign up for the mailing list. We may refer to emails sent through the mailing list in podcast episodes, so it is helpful for you to be a subscriber. To finish this episode, we want to introduce our first topic: why credentialing matters. Why is it important? Credentials represent the preparation the educators complete. California has determined the level of preparation our children deserve, and the credentials their teachers and service providers hold represent they have met that standard. Therefore, a student in a class with appropriately credentialed teacher is not only in a classroom with a teacher prepared to teach them, but being provided the education California has guaranteed them. We want our educators to be prepared to face today's issues in education, provide their students with up-to-date tools, strategies, and information, and understand the material they are teaching. Credential requirements ensure equity for both educators and students. All educators receive the same requirements depending on the route by which they earn their credentials. For example, all California-prepared general education and special education teachers must complete a commission-approved induction program to upgrade their preliminary credentials to the clear. For the students, this equity ensures that every teacher, regardless of where they teach in California, receives the same level of preparation as any other. Credentialing also keeps students safe, as the holder of a document issued by the CTC must undergo a background check as part of meeting professional fitness. The CTC's vision for the future of education is one driven by equity and justice. California's educators engage in culturally sustaining practices to create learning opportunities that promote each student's academic, social, emotional, and physical growth. We understand that the field of education is an ever-evolving one, and the CTC's focus revolves around the key areas of educator preparation and advancement, professional licensure, and continuous improvement. For educator preparation and advancement, we establish and uphold standards for educator preparation programs to ensure that each commission-approved program is adequately preparing their candidates for the classroom. We assist in the development of educator performance assessments that are embedded in clinical practice and continuously review that programs and standards are effective in preparing candidates for today's classrooms. Strategies and requirements that may have worked 20 or 30 years ago might not apply today. Therefore, through continuous review and evaluation, we can help evolve teacher preparation to better fit in today's world. For licensure, which is where you'll find me, we want to ensure that educators meet the requirements for the document or documents they are seeking and that they are appropriately licensed for the classrooms they teach in or the services they provide. We evaluate each credential application that comes in to ensure the applicant has met all the requirements for the document they are seeking within a mandated time of 50 business days. We communicate with all stakeholders and interested parties on credential requirements and provide customer service directly to educators, employing agencies, and programs. We in certification are perhaps who you, the listener, have been in contact with the most. Professional licensure also includes ensuring educators are of high moral character through background checks, reviews of any reported misconduct, and taking appropriate disciplinary action in relation to the educator's credentials. In continuous improvement, the CTC researches and collects data from interested parties, the community, and from educators themselves to continuously improve our processes and requirements. We collect survey results, assessment data, and information on teacher supply and demand in California. We then use this information to inform the members of the Commission and you, our stakeholders. This podcast is itself one example of such improvement, as this is something you, employing agencies and program sponsors, have sought from us to assist with common issues and to help familiarize your new staff with the inner workings of the CTC. Remember, this podcast will provide guidance not only from the certification division perspective, but also on various other commission business with guests from other divisions and even organizations. Finally, we want to provide you with some accomplishments from this past year. The certification division processed 339,112 applications in the 2023-24 fiscal year, an 8.3% increase over the previous fiscal year. The Division of Professional Practices opened 5,900 educator misconduct cases, and action was taken on 14% of these cases. The Professional Services Division approved 20 new educator preparation programs and conducted accreditation site visits for 32 institutions. Our government affairs team monitored over 600 education-related bills. We will talk more about what each of these divisions do in an upcoming episode. You, members of employing agencies, county offices of education, and university programs, also any educators and members of the public who happen to be listening to this podcast, like my parents, play a vital role in the continued success of the goals mentioned above and to the overall success of the CTC. We are your partners in this work. The CTC, and certainly the individuals who work in this agency, including yours truly, have a strong passion for education, and we collectively seek to ensure that our small part of the field of education in California is held to high standards and fosters a goal of continued innovation. We are here to help, and we want to make our processes as straightforward as possible for you. Likewise, we hope to have continuous innovation for this podcast. This is our, and my, first foray into such a medium, and we want it to be a useful tool in assisting you in the world of credentialing. We have many ideas for topics and guests to join me in discussing the work we all do. If you have any suggestions for episode topics or improvement for the podcast, please send them my way. I would love to hear from you. I want this to be helpful, not something you need to slog through in the hopes of getting your questions answered. If there is something that is a continuous struggle for you, let me know what it is, and perhaps we can turn it into an episode to help everyone. Before we go, please remember that the information in this episode is valid as of the original release date, and we encourage interested parties to review the public website and the SIG for the latest information. You have been listening to CTC and Me, insights, updates, and discussions on teacher certification and licensing from the California Commission on Teacher Credentialing. I am Michael Gaby Gross. We hope to see you next time. Thanks for listening.